Om Shri Sai Ram. We will start today's session with three Omkars. Om.
Sairam, welcome everyone to the 39th online Samarpan session. Earlier, we used to say that Samarpan sessions are like those recharge batteries that we all need to recharge our batteries. But I think in the world of pandemic, it is better to compare them to vaccinations that help us protect against the virus of negativity and other evils that affect our mind. For today's session, we have Malikeshwar sir. Sir came to Bhagwan's fold when he joined the PUC, that is the pre-university college, way back in 1976. He had the wonderful opportunity to be in Vrindavan in those early days prior to 1980. He was in fact the first batch of post-graduates when Bhagwan changed the college from Satya Sai College when it became part of the university. In 1982, his was the first batch that did the post-graduation. For a few years, Sir taught in Bhagwan's college, and post that he worked in a lot of multinational corporations. Currently, Sir, since 2008, serves in Bhagwan's hostel in Prashanti Nilayam. I request Sir to share his experiences from his student days and his learnings over the blessed lives that he has led and the experiences that he has had. Malikeshwar, sir.
Sure. I offer my most humble salutations at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Today I got a WhatsApp message. It says Diary of an Alumnus. I just want to read that because it is one of the wonderful things, and it was more appropriate that it had come today's morning message. So I thought it is Swami Sankalpa that I should read this to you. It goes like this. The most painful days at Puttaparthi were the days when it was time to leave the portals of Bhagwan's institute. Only the Divine Lord knew the pain and the agony we suffered in bidding goodbye to the hallowed abode of learning and bliss as the tenure of our educational programs drew to a close. Most of us would have liked to stay on and on at the lotus feet and make Puttaparthi our home forever, had not the circumstances pressured us to go elsewhere. The most merciful Lord invariably grant an interview to the outgoing batches of students. One student was leaving Puttaparthi, for he had to go back to his native place to attend to his family. He asked the Lord, Swami, you have done so much for us. You have given us many, many opportunities and experiences. How do we show our gratitude to you? The most merciful Lord said, how we have to show gratitude to him. Even showing gratitude to him is only for our benefit. Swami said, whatever experience you have had with me, keep recollecting these experiences. That is the gratitude you show to me. And he went on to say, share truthfully whatever you have experienced to the others. That is the way in which you can show gratitude to me. I want to thank the organizers for allowing me to show my gratitude to Bhagwan by way of narrating few of the personal experiences that I had with the Lord. By His grace, at the age of 6, I was born in 1960, and 1966, the year 1966, Swami had come to Chennai. You know, Swami, before entering into a family in this physical form, in most of the cases, if you see, the people will be always hearing negative about him. Maybe it is one of his play in one of the way he drags the people to. Prior to his coming to Chennai, for the past 1 month, my father started hearing about Swami, but all in negative things. My father was a great devotee of Lord Subramanya. You know, in Tamil Nadu, the famous deity is Lord Subramanya, son of Satya Sai only. But he was not against Swami, but he kept on reading about all those articles. And when Swami was staying at a place called Venkatamuni Garu's house in Alvarpet, a place in Tamil Nadu. My father was passing that road. He saw quite a few people standing there and staring at the balcony on top. So out of curiosity, he asked, "See, whom are you waiting for?" Then they said, "See, Satya Sai Baba has come to Chennai. So we are all waiting for his darshan. He'll open the balcony window and then grant us darshan first before coming down." That's what they said. So my father, very curious, he thought he'll stand and then have Swami's darshan. He waited for 10 to 15 minutes and then he was thinking in his mind, what type of fellow am I? Sai Baba will come and open the window to give darshan and I'm also standing here to have his darshan. As soon as he had thought, Swami opened the window and there was an eye-to-eye contact between father and Swami and a spiritual conversation. Swami told him beautifully in Tamil. He could feel that Swami talking to him. "You fool, you are coming only to see this form now. But I am the one, the Lord Subramanya, who is protecting you, your ancestors, your future generation, everybody." And no, tears were flowing from his eyes just by the darshan and the mental conversation that he had with Swami. So that was his first darshan. It was in the year 1966. And he came home highly excited and then said, "Now all of us, let's all go." So I have 6 in my family. There is 4 brothers and 2 sisters, mother, father 8, my grandmother 9. So we all went the next day. We all had a good darshan. That is the first darshan. And when I was standing next to my father when we had darshan of Swami, then my father told me that, "See, he is God. Kadavul da Kadavul." Kadavul means in Tamil God. So at the age of 6, your father is your hero. And your heart is also very tender. It went deep inside my heart that he is the Divine Supreme. From that day, he is my Divine Supreme. And thanks to my father, in many ways, he had thought about Swami. You see, about telling something or doing something about Swami is impossible. But in whatever way that he can tell us about the glory of the God, he was always ever ready to teach us. So things went on like this from 1976 to 1976. I completed my 11th standard in Chennai. See, that time in Chennai, you have to do 11th standard, 1 year pre-university course, 3 years degree. My brothers went to Vrindavan to attend a marriage which Swami was performing. We never knew anything about Swami's college, nor I know something about Bal Vikas, Sri Sevadal, nothing I knew. I know Swami is God. Wherever bhajans are sung, we used to go and sing bhajans. That is the only thing. We are not aware of any other organizational outfit of our organization. So this went on. And 11th standard means I was 16 years old at that time. So the natural affinity to the world was so great. I was telling my father, no, I don't want to go and become a sannyasi. I'll not go to Swami's college. Or I got a decent mark, so I'll get in a good college, so I don't want to go. My father is such a nice person, he'll never interfere in our life. He'll advise. And he'll say that it is your decision, you have to take your decision. So it went on. I have paid the fees also to a college. Suddenly, there was a great urge in my heart telling that I should join Swami's college. So when I got up the next morning, I said, though we have paid the fees, I don't want to study in Chennai, I want to go to Vrindavan. He was shocked, but he knew that Swami is the one who's doing all that. Constantly, he was praying maybe to Swami. My good fortune. So I went, joined in the Vrindavan. That itself is one beautiful story. I studied in Tamil medium. And during olden days, even the teachers, even the English teacher teaching in Tamil medium school will not know much about English. So my English communication was very, very, very poor. Understanding English language is still poor. I can't even speak. I don't understand. That was the thing. You write few things and then they push you in English. I could not communicate anything in English. Now I'm going to go to a college where everything is taught in English, and the interview is going to take place in English. So my father taught me, telling only one word: see, whatever they ask you tell, I'll prove worthy of your choice. I'll prove worthy of your choice. But for the nothing. So I by hearted. I went. Gem of a principal, Dr. Narendra, one of the greatest devotee of Bhagwan. He took the interview. So what is your name? What is your father's name? All those things went on peacefully. Then he started asking some questions which I didn't even understand. So my Taraka mantra, I started telling. Whatever he asked, I used to tell one day, I'll prove worthy of your choice. So he understood my problem. And then he said, okay, let's talk in Tamil. So the interview went on Tamil. That is one part of the story. One of the person who introduced me belongs to the 1976 to 80 batch, which is one of the most glorious period of any Vrindavan student. Maybe from 74 it might have started, or 73 it would have started. But 76, 77, 78, 79, 80 is the peak period of Vrindavan. Believe me, Swami used to spend almost 300 days in Vrindavan. Only for the festival times, he will go to Puttaparthi and we'll be following him. So it's almost, but for the days when Swami goes to other places like Mumbai, Chennai, throughout the year, we'll be spending with Swami. Hardly about 20 or 25 days, we'll not be there with Swami. That used to be the time that Swami used to give it to us. Swami came. I joined on June 1st. Swami came around 10th or 15th June to Vrindavan. From June, July, August, September, I didn't even get a glance from him. I used to cry inside my heart, Lord, what is this? But no chance. He never used to look at me. For him, I was not existing there, of course, unless he, and until he would have built, I wouldn't have been there. But still, no talk. So that agony, that too only there were 80 boys. Swami talked to everybody. But when it comes to me, he won't even look at my face. It went on. And we had a practice in Vrindavan wherein whatever we prepare in the hostel for our breakfast, lunch, evening snacks, and night dinner, two boys were allowed to take that food to upstairs. That is Swami's bungalow, not tribe Vrindavan. Previously, it used to be called Swami's bungalow. In fact, Swami used to call old bungalow, that old bungalow, because it was one of the oldest building. Had no basement for that, believe me. Only no cement also. It is with the chunnam and no that type of building. But each and every brick in that building will tell a story. In fact, the boys belonging to that batch will not like Rai Vrindavan, nor will be like Shant in India. Because the amount of chance that Swami gave, everything was in that building. It is real Braj Bhumi actually. No, when Swami spent his time in Vrindavan, you hear so many stories. But when once he went to Mathura and Dwaraka, he became royal. He was slightly distant from all the people. It is almost similar here in old bungalow of Vrindavan. One day, I did get a chance to take dinner for Swami. Along with me, one more fellow also joined. And the boys, those who have gone upstairs by way of taking food to Swami, will come down and then tell so many stories. Hey, Swami did this to me, Swami that. So we were all very eager. No? Swami will be talking to you in a very close quarters. You can take namaskar. And the way in which the boys narrated, no, I was so bubbling with joy. I took dinner for Swami. Swami was very, very busy. While going, he saw the other fellow and then asked him to take namaskar. So I also took namaskar. Don't look, no eye to eye contact. I was feeling miserable. I came down, pestered the boy who used to organize all these things. Hey, give me one more chance here because Swami didn't talk to me. Swami didn't even look at me. I went on, pouring out my heart to him. He took pity of me. He said, immediately I cannot send you. After 1 week, I'll send. So after 1 week, he said, go for lunch. Normally, guests and others will not be there during lunch. 1 or 2 only will be there. So Swami might talk to you. That's what he said. So I took lunch for Swami. But that day also, Swami was very, very, very busy. The one more boy who was standing, Swami called him, gave him namaskar. I also went, took namaskar, came back. That's all. See, that was my fate. Till September, no look, no recognition, least one word from Swami, nothing. Swami had spoken to all the other people other than me. I was crying inside my heart. Again, I went to that boy and then started sharing. So it was in the month of September. He just could not bear the agony what I had. Maybe it is my good fortune. And Swami would have put that thought in his mind to send me up again. This time I went alone, making evening snacks to Swami. Swami doesn't eat anything, but it is a chance he has given to the boys so that no, they can come closer to him. I went there. Normally, Swami used to come by 3:30. When Swami goes to the dining hall, we'll be going and standing outside the dining hall. We'll be waiting for him to call us and talk to us, all that. You have to climb 3 steps to go to the dining hall. So we were standing down. I was standing alone down, praying, Swami, please have a word with me. I was praying. The usual practice, Swami used to come at 3:30. One or two guests may be there. Swami will give them snacks. Swami doesn't take coffee and tea. So after spending 10-15 minutes, and maybe 4:15, he'll go back. Then no, Vishnu Alankara Priyaho. That's what we say. Swami used to come both in the morning and evening for darshan. So when he comes down, nicely, such a way of dressing. He'll do it perfectly. No makeup, but perfect. It's Maduram, Atharam Maduram, like what he said, from top to toe, everything is Maduram for him. But he's perfect in everything. So he'll come. So the time, normally what he spends during the time is between 3:30 to 4:15. 3:30, the day when I went, Swami came at 3:30, 3:40, 3:50, 4 o'clock, 4:05. Normally 4:10 or 4:15, Swami will leave. I was searching, praying inside. Swami, what is this? At least, because when Swami is sitting in the dining hall, he'll call the boys. Boys will be pressing his feet for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Some boys will be lucky enough to be called at 3:40 itself. So 3:40 to 4:10, they will be 20 minutes. I have not had that opportunity even after joining for 4 months. Swami, I was praying inside my heart. Then my warden, Mr. Sudarshan, he came and then called me, hey, Swami is calling me at 4:10. I thought, okay, at least 5 minutes or 3 minutes I can touch Swami's feet. Swami was sitting comfortably in another chair. Very few people were there. He said, Chase, go first. Then he asked from where I'm coming from. I said, Swami, from Madras. That time, no Chennai, it was Madras. Then Swami said, sit down. So I was very happy. I sat near his feet and started praying, pressing his feet. I was, full of emotion. Tears were rolling from my eyes. He said, don't cry. He said. Then he said, have you learned Telugu? Because I came and joined in the month of June. June, July, August, September, 4 months. Swami Kuncham Muchu. Because it was the habit of all the boys. It was the practice of all the boys to learn Telugu. Because it is the divine language. So I started talking Telugu, but with very few words. Very, very few words. I can manage. But my speaking Telugu, nobody can understand. To some extent, maybe 10% or 15%, I can understand Telugu. That was the basic things, like me, Peri, me, what is your name? Then he said, now you should talk to me only in Telugu. This day, though I forgot to note down the date of the day, is one of the most glorious moments, most glorious days in the life. We have quite a few days like that. And this is one of the most glorious days in my life. Time was 4:15. Believe me, I was speaking Telugu in such a way, not able to communicate properly. But no, it was full of joy that moment. My tears, everything cried. And no, I also was very happy to talk in Telugu, about which I do not know anything. But here again, we have to understand, though Swami knows everything, in a fraction of a second, I always tell my boys, or the hospital boys, whenever I give a talk to them, when you go physically close to Swami, it is 99.9999999% Maya, and 0.00001% only he shows divinity. And you have to observe very closely to get that flash. And sometimes you may not know that you have experienced the divine feeling at that moment. Maybe after recollecting it many a times, you will understand at that point, yeah, Swami told me like this. So nice. I didn't realize that moment. He's how many percent. So that type of experience he had given me that day. The talk went on, wherein he revealed what I used to do in my house, like taking money from my father's packet. My father used to smoke cigarettes, so he'll tell, go take 2 rupees and get me cigarette. So I'll take 2 rupees 20 paise. That time 10 paise, 5 paise, all coins were there. Then go out when I buy cigarette for my father. I used to buy some eatable and then eat it. Used to do that like that. No, that's what Swami said. Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami. All that went on. Then Swami said, how many brothers and sisters you have? But I'm supposed to tell that in Telugu. The people, those who can understand Telugu, will know. In Tamil and Telugu, there is a difference in this Adavallu, Magavallu. Gents and ladies, in Tamil it is called Adavar. For gents, in Telugu it is Adavallu. Adavar, Adavallu, Magalir, Magavallu. Actually, it is ulta pulta. In Tamil, gents means Adavar, ladies means Magalir. But in Telugu, Adavallu means ladies, Magavallu means gents. It is just opposite. So Swami asked, how many brothers and sisters? See, we are 4 brothers and 2 sisters, including me. So I put this Adavallu, Magavallu as Adavar Magalir. I said, Swami, Nalu Adavallu, Rendu Magavallu. Actually, we are 4 brothers, 2 sisters. That is the first day Swami is talking to me physically. In physical term, Swami had never spoken to me so far. And in physical term, he doesn't know anything about me and the family. I'm only using the word physical or in the Maya term. There is no way that Swami can physically know that I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, because this is the first time that Swami is talking to me. Before, whenever we used to visit Patti, we used to go only during the festival time. So from far we'll get a glance. That's all. So I said, Swami, Nalu Adavallu, Rendu Magavallu. Then he, with a twinkle in his eyes, beautifully said, hey, Seriga Cheppu. Tell correctly. No, Swami, I know. Because I know how many brothers and sisters. No? So I said, Nalu Adavallu, Rendu Magavallu. Hey, Tamil Cheppu. Tell in Tamil. 4 brothers irukanga, Swami, 2 sisters. Then Swami started laughing. And then he said, why did you tell? In Telugu, you know what is Adavallu? I said, Adavallu means gents. How can you say like that? Swami, in Tamil, Adavar means gents. So Adavallu means gents. Magalir means ladies. So Magavallu means ladies. When he corrected me and then said, no, Adavallu and Magavallu. At that moment of joy, I didn't realize this fraction of divinity shown to me. It went on, believe me, instead of 4:15, 5:30, Swami said, oh, time I painted, let's go down. And from that day, all of you, those who are following cricket, normally we say, yes, fellow in form when he continuously scores century, and out of form when he scores that. By his grace, by his love, from that day, my farm started with him. And those days were the most memorable days in our life, because each and every second we used to think of Swami. I don't want to use the word we used to think of Swami. Swami used to make us think of him. Why I'm telling this particular word is one of Swami's schoolmate had come to Puttaparthi, and Swami, that is when Swami was a schoolboy in Bukkapatnam. So Swami called him for an interview. That time Swami was well known to the world. So this man, out of his ignorance, told Swami, now you have become so much popular. Do you think of me? When Swami said Pichivada means mad fellow. This is the word Swami used, Pichivada. Unless I think of you, you cannot think of me. What a beautiful statement. So we all should be very, very grateful, the people, those who are listening, and including me, who is talking about his glory. Because he has taught all of us, we are all listening to his glory, and he has blessed me to talk. So since he had taught all of us, I'll offer my most humble pranams to all of you, because the billions of the people, those who are there in the world, now, of course, so many people will be thinking of Swami. At least I can communicate, and you are hearing me. So to you all, my namaskar, because Bhagavan is thinking of you. So that was my first divine experience with Swami as such. And the days went on. Sometimes he'll talk to me in the morning. Evening, he will not talk. It will give great pain. Swami, you are not spoken to me. See, that it was not only with me. All the Vrindavan boys were craving for him like this. It was real a replica of the old Vrindavan, where Lord used to spend a lot of time with his Gopalas, and the Gopalas used to vie with each other to be near his presence. So it used to be only divine thoughts. Thinking of Swami. Today evening, Swami has not spoken to me. I don't know what I have done, what mistake I have done. Like that, it will keep on going. So the next day, unless and then he talks to you, that agony continues to go. And he always gives, I won't say the word agony, he gives what you call, I don't want to even say the word pain. I hope you understand. So I don't want to use any word. But the reward the next day, when once he doesn't talk to you in one session, the evening session or in the morning session, the amount of compensation that used to give, used to fill us and make us, joyful for days. So it went on like this. That's how my love story started with the Lord. I just wanted to share some of my family experience and the experiences Swami gave me through others. That's what I wanted to tell, in which Swami was also present. So it was, these things are my personal experience as such. Now to start with, the second experience of mine was in the month of December, divine experience. That's what I'm telling. Normally, December month, Bangalore University, under which Sri Satya Sai Arts, Science and Commerce College was there, a part of it, used to give vacation for 1 month from December 1st to 30th, 31st December, they used to give a holiday. As I said, there were only 80 boys. And that was our first winter vacation, my first winter vacation. So I was very eager to go home. Swami was in Vrindavan. And Swami called each and every boy who was going to their home. Don't see TV, don't see cinemas, prove that you are Swami's student. All this personally was telling, he used to give Vibhuti Prasadam to us. And then he'll tell all this one by one he used to tell. So with on the 1st December, I left Chennai. It was 1976, as I said. During 1975 only, the television had come to Chennai. That time it was Doordarshan Delhi, which was having a control of Doordarshan Tamil Nadu. And we used to have 2 days wherein nobody will be walking in the road. On every Friday, there will be a song sequence from the film. And every Sunday, there used to be a Tamil movie. So all the people will be glued into the TV those times. One Sunday, I had gone to my brother's house. And no TV was a luxury at the time. We never had a TV in our house. But my brother had a TV in his house. My sister-in-law is one of a gem of a person who got so much devotion to Swami well before we knew, our family knew about Swami, their family were aware of Swami, and they were quite physically also close to Swami. And our constant thoughts always used to be with Swami. So I went to their house. We started at around 4:30. I went up to 6 o'clock. We were talking about all the glory of Swami. And 6 o'clock, I wanted to return back to home. So when I stepped out of the house, they have on the TV. I said, no, Sunday evening, normally one film will be there. I was never fond of movie as such, but I used to go to movies. Not that I hate movies, because our family is such, they won't send us to all those things. The movie all alone, we cannot go. We have to go along with our parents. These types of discipline were there in our house. And I was not mad after movies. However, my favorite actor was Shivaji Ganeshan. That time, he was one of the greatest heroes. And his voice was a very booming voice. And his diction, he was an excellent actor, no doubt about that. So when I stepped out of the house, they had on, and the booming voice of Shivaji Ganeshan came from the TV. So more of a reflex action, I just turned, I saw Shivaji Ganeshan's form, then immediately turned my head. Hey, Swami told you should not watch TV. Then I came back. So 1 month passed. I went to Vrindavan. Swami was there physically. He said, hey, come here. Enduku TV chusav. Why did you see TV? That's what he said. See, this is a fraction of a second I have seen. It was not there in my mind. Swami, nenu chudaledu Swami. Swami, I have not seen Swami. I have not seen Swami. Hey, abatham cheppodu. Don't tell lies. You saw Shivaji Ganeshan for half a second. The thing which I forgot, because it was not my intention to see TV. It is more of a reflex action. I saw the TV, hear the Lord telling half a second Shivaji Ganeshan. Then only I recollected, yes, I saw. Yes, Swami. Swami knows everything. Good boy. Just to show you that I'm always protecting you, I'm guarding you, I'm around you. Swami always tells no in front of you, at the back of you, at the top, at the bottom, at the sides. Just to tell, that is the reason why I told you this. I'm very, very happy, Bangaru. Take. And during those days, our first darshan, believe me, will start at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, it will start. Swami from bedroom. See, Swami's bungalow is 2-floor building, not 2-floor, ground floor and first floor, say. First floor is personal residence. Ground floor, there will be a big hall where we all used to sit and then have presence. And there will be interview room where Swami calls the people whenever he goes outside. There are 2 interview rooms, one inside, just like Puttaparthi. So inner interview room is for the, when Swami get the people in group, he'll take their family and then talk. And just opposite that room is a room called safe room. Why it is called safe room is there was a safe before Swami could buy that property. The safe was there, and I believe wall was built around the safe. So that room was called safe room. And the owner, he said, Swami, we cannot take the safe because we have to break. It is totally attached to the ground. So we are leaving the safe. That's what he had said. So that because of that, it is called safe. Swami always says, Cheppinattu Chestara. That is, whatever he preaches, he does. He wants us to get up during Brahma Muhurtam. Swami will be awake by 4:30 because we can see the light at 4:30. At 4:40, he'll come, he'll open the window because it is the first floor, and Vrindavan that time used to be very cold, unlike now. That time, no industrialization, no concrete road, and no houses. It is not developed that much. So even in the month of August, September, the fog used to come from our mouth in the early mornings when we speak. So it will be very hazy. But Swami's red robe, we can, by seeing the red robe, we know that Swami is standing. We cannot see Swami's face clearly, but the halo of hair that we can see. Swami will make some action which we'll be in a position to see. As soon as he opens at about, say, 4:50 or 4:40, he'll just say, good morning, that we can see. Then he'll keep his hand like this, safe gun. Then he'll shoot. He'll shoot all of us. About 10-15 boys only will be there. That shooting actually what it means whenever he comes down also he does that. He'll say love gun. So resident, Swami bedroom. And there are 2 other rooms. The third room, Swami can go to his restroom. Other 2 rooms, he jokingly used to call as junk room. Because you all might have seen, Swami always wants to give something or other to the devotees. So these 2, whatever Swami gets, he'll keep it in that room. And on occasions, he'll keep on giving. So from the second room, before he goes to the restroom, he has to go to the third room. So again, he'll go to the third room, he'll open the window. So it's not very far, all 100 square feet room. So when we go to that next room, Swami will open the window, we'll open the curtain, we'll be all running there. Sometimes what Swami will do, he'll close the curtain. So thinking that Swami has gone to the third room, we'll be all running to the third room. He'll wait for 1 second and then open again the bedroom. We'll always keep one boy there. So he'll do like this. So immediately we'll run. This type of play will be there for 10-15 minutes. Then by 6 o'clock, Swami used to come out of his bedroom. Here we can have a very good darshan because next to Swami's sofa, there is a big grill. And a thick curtain, there is no mesh. So when Swami opens, Swami can talk to us, we can hear very clear. So again, the same routine will start. 6 o'clock, he'll open. By the time when the Swami's bedroom light is off, we know that Swami is going to come to his sofa. So when he comes down, he'll open the curtain, he'll do good morning again, Logan, then he'll start talking to us, which we can hear very clearly. Then he'll close the curtain. So thinking that Swami is sitting, we'll be all slightly, will be relaxed. Immediately he'll open, he'll close, he'll open, and then he'll keep on talking so many things. That's how our throughout the day, from morning to night, 9 o'clock, some way or other we'll be having Swami's darshan. Coming to the safe room, as I said, Swami will show his divine nature only for a few fractions, or 2 when you are physically close to him. All the other time it is Maya only. I'll narrate 2 incidents that had happened in safe room. That time, Dr. Sundar Rao used to be the state president of Karnataka. In the safe room, Before going to the incident, I just wanted to explain something about the safe room. Swami will be sitting in a sofa. About 10-15 boys will slowly sneak in to the safe room through the back door. So as soon as Swami sits, we'll all crowd around Swami, we'll start pressing his feet. Swami normally talks to the boys or one or two guests whom he calls to the safe room. So it will go on. After 10 minutes, the boys, those who are standing at the back, they'll make a sound. When they make that sound, the boys, those who are doing Paseva, slowly will go back, and these fellows will come inside and then they'll start pressing. Normally, Swami used to spend almost hour to 1.5 hours in the safe room in the morning before he goes for darshan. So that 1.5 hours is a very blissful moment for us. So this Dr. Sundarrao also had the privilege, and Swami had given him permission to come and stand near the safe room. So normally he stands near the entrance, which is about 10 feet away from Swami's sofa. So he'll be standing, Swami will be talking to him. On that particular day, Dr. Sundarrao had a thought in his mind when he got up. He was also blessed to go behind Swami when Swami goes for darshan, and he'll be carrying 2-3 polythene covers full of letters. And the thought that had come to his mind is, see, I'm bringing so many letters to Swami. In addition to that, another 2-3 people also will be carrying back. And I know that Swami is getting sacks and sacks of letters. Normally, Swami used to get 5 to 6 sacks. That time, no plastic bags, gunny bags, no, that 100 kilo, 50 kilo bags. Full of letters used to come by the postman, used to bring it to us. So he had a doubt, will Swami read all the letters? Then he just nudged it over. How can I ask Swami this? Then Swami just turned to him and then said, Sundarrao, em samacharam. That's how Swami normally starts his conversation. He said, Swami, everything is fine, Swami. What did you think today morning? That's what Swami asked. How can he tell Swami, do you read all letters to Swami? So he tried to dodge. I am lazy, Swami, nothing, Swami, nothing. No, letters, tell, letters. All these things happened. Swami had gone out, collected the letters, given darshan, and he was sitting in a sofa, flipping the letters in his lap. On his lap, he was just flipping the letters. No, you tell me about the letters. Then with a great sense of, he was feeling very bad, but see, why I should get that thought. But he told Swami, one passing thought had come to me, that Swami read all letters. Swami was flipping the letters like this. He just picked one letter, which was sealed very nicely. Dr. Sundarrao was standing about 10 feet away from Swami. Sundarrao, you should understand only one thing. The amount of letters what I get are in thousands. And if I have to read all the letters daily, the backlog will be about 20 years back. 1,000 letters, if I start reading, what will happen? 10,000 letters Swami get. By the time he goes to the darshan and come back, another 2,000 letters will be there. So this used to be the thing. How can I read all the letters? But again, flip the letter, picked one cover which was sealed nicely. Take. He gave it to Sundarrao. Open it. He opened it. Read, Swami said. So he was stunned because this is the first time in his life Swami is asking him to read a letter that had come to him. No, it's all right. Read, Swami said. So he was hesitating, but Swami has given the command. So he just opened. Stop, Swami said. 10 feet away, Swami is sitting in the chair. Dr. Sundarrao is holding the letter like this. Swami started reading the letter from where he was sitting. First 10 lines. He said, in that letter, what was written? Swami, we are very thankful for you. Our humble pranams to you. You have given us darshan for 10 days. So joyful, all that, whatever that, which was not personal. Those 10 lines, Swami read and then said, give me back. All other things are personal. It is between me and my devotees. These 10 lines are common. Sundarrao, understand only one thing. It is not necessary for me to read any letter because I am the one who's prompting them to write. I am the one who's dictating the letter to them to write. Then you may ask, why Swami should take letter? Anybody will ask. Swami said so beautifully, see, when I take the letter, sometimes my finger might touch them. And whenever I take letter, those people take namaskar. And one more thing, though I am the one who's writing all that, they don't know. By giving their worries and problem to me, they feel happy. My job is to give only happiness, Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. That is the reason why I am always taking the letter from the people. It is not necessary for me to read any letter. In spite of that, I read letters just to be, make people happy. At least the people, those who are in close quarters, we know when Swami is reading our letter. So we'll feel extremely happy. That is the reason. And there's a great, great, great lesson Swami taught us that day. It is not necessary to write a letter to Swami, but we are writing letter to Swami just to get that touch from his finger and namaskar. Believe me, in Vrindavan, at least the first 1 or 2 years, all the boys used to give letters to Swami daily. Many a time, even I have given a letter. You know what will be the word? Sai Ram Swami. That's all, nothing else. Because I'll fold the letter and then he'll take the letter, Chesko. Only Sai Ram Rasavo. You have written only Sai Ram, take Namaskar. That's what Swami will tell. Believe me, some days, because of some other work, when Swami comes only, we'll be coming inside. We'll not have time to write. Fold a white paper and then give. The loving Lord will take. Em Ledra, he'll say. You have not written anything. Chesko. Chesko means take Namaskar. That's what. See, Swami so beautifully says. That is the reason why even now, today, in case, if I have any problem, he prompts me to write a letter. I just write and then keep it in this altar. That's more than enough. Physically, I can narrate 100 experiences of mine, wherein sometimes he had taken the letter, many times he had not taken the letter, but the answer always used to be there in the next moment. That's what he had done. So each and every miracle has got its own meaning. Shivaji Ganeshan, seeing half a second, telling me that I'm always with you, in you, around you, everywhere. Even today, whenever there is a problem, that faith and confidence that it gives, Swami is with me, I can fight. It is not the Sai devotee will not get any problem. It is not Swami students, those who had a very close association with him, will not have any problem. Problems will be there. But for Sai devotees, problem is not a problem because the Lord is there with us. Why we should be afraid of any problem? So with this, such a beautiful incident, again he had given an assurance that don't think that I have not taken your letter. I am the one who had made you write letters. Even today, if you want, you can just write a letter and then keep it. And thousands of people's experience is that Swami always responds to their prayer that they keep a letter. No need of letter also, but it gives us a satisfaction. This is one of the incidents. The second, another wonderful incident that had taken place in the safe room is, during 1976, a devastating cyclone affected East Godavari district, East and West Godavari districts of Andhra Pradesh. And if I'm correct, that was the only time Swami said, see, on the birthday time, Swami openly said, don't buy garland to me. Give the money so that it will go and reach those people. Swami had never asked money from anybody. You all know that. And Swami instructed all the people to go and do a lot of service there. So this went on after birthday. Swami had come to Vrindavan. There was an old Brahmin from Rajmundry. He had a son, lost everything in the floods and the cyclone, but he wanted to perform the sacred ceremony, Upanayanam ceremony for his son. And totally moneyless, he wanted money only from Swami. If you would have asked somebody, somebody would have given because he's a well-known Brahmin, very orthodox, people had a lot of respect for him, but he wanted the money only from Swami. So he had come to Vrindavan. He met one of our lecturers and then said, sir, this is my situation. I wanted to perform sacred ceremony to my son. Please ask Swami to give me 2,000 rupees. 2,000 rupees during 1976 is a huge amount. 77, huge amount. So you can perform, and he wanted to perform it in a simple way. So the lecturer told him, sorry sir, Swami doesn't like recommendation. We cannot go and request him. But only one thing I'll do. When I go to his presence, I'll just pray on your behalf. You also pray. So he came. He was allowed to go to Swami's that first floor. So he was standing there. He remembered this Brahmin. So internally he prayed to Swami. So this is what has happened. So that lecturer was also there in the safe room, and Dr. Sundara also was in the safe room. The people, those who have noticed Swami physically coming out, normally when he comes out, he'll have some cover in the sand, sometimes, or many a times. And slowly, nobody will know what he's going to do with the cover, but there will be invariably some money When he goes to the devotee side, he'll give it to somebody. No one can notice. So beautifully, he'll give it off and then he'll walk off. Swami had a cover that day. He went. Nothing was communicated to Swami about this Brahmin. He went. What happened there, we do not know. Swami was again sitting in the safe room. Dr. Sundara was standing, and the lecturer who prayed in front of Swami also was standing there. Swami suddenly turned to Sundarao and said, Sundarao, what will happen if water stays in the same place? So Sundarao said, Swami, no, it will get polluted. Algae, fungus, everything will come. And after some time, it will start stinking. Okay. If the water flows in the same place continuously, what is the nature of water at that time? For me, you can just go and drink that water also because it is fresh, it is pure, it flows. Swami was flipping his letters. He just picked one letter. It was sealed nicely. Then he turned to the lecturer. He said, what happened today? So the lecturer forgot about this. He said he is one sort of assistant warden to the hospital that time. Swami, everything went on well. This is the breakfast we made, all that he said. No, not that. Old Brahmin, Rajmundry Brahmin, Cheppu, he said. So he was, there was a shock. And then he said, Swami, one man came to me and then he said he needed 2,000 rupees and he wanted only Swami should give that amount to him. So he asked me to request Swami, but I told Swami doesn't like recommendation. I'll pray for him. What did you do? I came in front of your presence and then prayed for the Brahmin. Then Swami said, I have given him the 2,000. Then he said, when you give money or anything for that matter, with full open heart, without expecting anything in return, you will get much more than what you have given. That's what Swami was telling. But you should not have the feeling that you are the giver. You give with full love. It will come back to you. Just like water, when it flows, the fresh water always comes. Keeping money, hoarding money is evil. And there is no use in hoarding money. It is the biggest sin. You will suffer because of that. That's what Swami said. And as he was flipping, he just took out one letter. He tore. There were 20, 100 rupee notes. That time there was no 500, 1,000, 2,000, all those things. Though no demonetization of 100. So the Swami took, he counted. See, I gave the Brahmin 20 to 100 rupee note. I gave it full love, not expecting anything. See, now I have got my 2,000. Then we were about 20 people. He gave one note to all that. Such a small thing, so much truth. And the lessons, what Swami used to teach, it's not like there are 7 Kundalini things like that, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, which we will not like. Simple, very simple truths of life and how we should lead. And even these small things are much more than enough than doing this Kundalini, love all, serve all. Swami always teaches the most simplest way. Start loving everybody. It will take time. I am very confident, if not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, one day I love everybody. I think small incidents like this, Swami used to teach us very jokingly, with lot of fun. No rigorous meditation, things like a lot of fun. Of course, he used to teach meditation and other things also. That is for few boys. And now I am reminded of one more small incident that happened in Puttaparthi. It's the usual practice during Dasara. That Swami will give a discourse, then he'll come back to the interview room in Puttaparthi, and few of us will be there. Then we'll be discussing about the talk, what Swami had given. Swami will ask, what, if you have any doubts, you ask this, all that. And one day, believe me, Swami spoke for 2 hours. That is 2 hours and maybe another 1.5 hours Swami might have spoken, another 1 hour for translation. Because Swami speaks very fast. And that day Swami spoke about these nadis, 7 chakras, all very high philosophical things, and which, at least I'm not good in those things. So, but normally we used to have very nice interaction. So when Swami came, he saw me and then said, hey, mera Bhagavanda speech. As if his speech will not be good. Bhavana is good. I didn't understand anything. How can I say Swami, it is very good? I said, Swami, Anni bounces Swami, game as some husband. I said, all are bounces Swami. I didn't understand anything. The Lord who had spoken for standing for 2.5 hours, 1.5 hour in Telugu and 1 hour in English, in field. He said so lovingly like a mother, hey, this is not for you. This speech is not meant for you. Few people are there who are much interested in knowing all these things. So don't worry. Who will tell this? The Lord, we have the audacity. See, it is not with any ego that we said Swami. We have to be truthful to Swami. So we told Swami, really I didn't understand. So that's what you are supposed to tell Swami. Because what I've seen in my life, whenever you accept certain things and then go and tell him, he never abuses you. He is thousand. I think the only lie what Bhagavan had said, according to me, he is comparing him for 1,000 mothers. It is not 1,000 mothers. It's not lie. It is understatement. He is limitless mother, billions of mother. Not you cannot imagine. It is infinity to the core of infinity to the core of infinity. Mother is always loving. Your mother cannot love you as he loves you. I've experienced this. Believe me. Believe me. He may neglect you, but each and every second of my existence today, then I know it is because of him. Always patting him, always putting so many things and making his presence felt. It is purely his grace. Again, going back to the story, this is what Swami said: don't hoard money. Whatever is possible for you to give to others. Love all, serve all. That is. These are the two important teachings of the safe room. Now, let me come back to my family incidents. I told you during the first interaction in the month of September, I used to take 20 paise more than my father's cigarette. My father was a chain smoker. He used to smoke almost 100 cigarettes per day. It was called Bill's filter tip pink size. Pink size is a bigger version of a smaller cigarette. So that 100 cigarettes will be equivalent to the small cigarette of about 125 or something like that. And he tried his level best to stop the smoking habit, but he didn't succeed. During 1978, I think, Swami was in his dining room and he was going back to his bedroom. I was standing near the staircase with a letter in my hand. It was a Tuesday, I remember very clearly. I had written, Swami, father is smoking a lot of cigarettes. Swami should only bless him to stop. That's all, nothing else. He just took the letter. He saw the letter. He just stared at me. I was thinking that Swami didn't like what I have written to Swami. See, that is our foolish mind. Who can know anything about him? He didn't tell anything. It was about 4:30. He went back. Nothing happened that day. Evening, as usual, everything was normal. Swami was talking to me, all that, but no mention of this letter. Next day morning, I saw my father Wednesday morning in Vrindavan. See, normally, hostel boys, they get a communication from their parents well in advance. See, what are all the things that you require? If not father, at least mother will ask you, you want laddu or this or that. Father is coming, I'll send you all this. Do you have any other requirements? All these things they'll ask. But nothing. I saw my father standing on a Wednesday near the entrance of Vrindavan. Somebody came and told your father has come. I said, how come? Because I was inside the mandir. So I came out, hey, how come you are here? What my father said is, see, from 4:30 yesterday evening, I had a great urge that I should see Swami. So I just started. I came. That's how I'm here. See, during those times, 1978, there used to be only 3 trains, no electronic booking all. The 3 trains were Vrindavan Express from Chennai, Chennai Mail, and one Chennai passenger. These 3 trains used to be there. And getting a ticket to Bangalore was very difficult because roads were not that good, no 4-way roads, and very few buses. So unless and until you book your tickets well in advance, for you to reach Bangalore is a difficult task. I said, how come? He said, I just from 4:30 I had a great urge. I came to the station. The train starts at 10:30. So I met a TTR. I said, I have to go. He said, he had given me a berth. My father is, he's meticulous in his planning. Well, before 1 month, he'll book all the tickets. He'll ask me to book a room for him near Vrindavan. All those things used to happen. Nothing now. And that time, the parents were allowed to stand near the entrance of the gate of the bungalow, old bungalow. My father had 3 great qualities in him. One is, he's a person who used to do that, instead of, I call it as Agnihotri. We used to have fire in the house. The second thing is, Wherever Ashwamedha Yajna of the present day used to take place, he used to visit. I don't want to use the word Yajna, but for the sake of this thing, let me tell you that. And he is a close follower of Yudhishthira. These three qualities he had. Agnihotri is nothing but smoking cigarette continuously, one after one. Only one matchstick. When one is over, light the other one with the same cigarette continuously like that. Ashwamedha Yajna of present day is nothing but going to the horse races, gambling again, wherever it was held. That time it used to be in Chennai, it used to be in Ooty, it used to be in Bangalore, it used to be in Mumbai also, if I'm correct. So these 4-5 places, Mysore, all those places, he'll bet money on that. Close friend of Yudhishthira, gambling, playing cards. That time it was dice. The present version of dice is nothing but playing cards. He'll lose money in that. That is the reason why I have compared him to Yudhishthira and not Shakuni. You may ask, why are you not comparing your father to Shakuni? One, he is my father, so I cannot compare him to Shakuni. Second thing, after coming to Bhagavan's fold, after telling me that he is the divine supreme, how can I call him to Shakuni? The love what he had for Swami, we all know to some extent. Always constant memory of Swami he had. Great man, real great man. I am really blessed and thankful to Swami for being such a father, such a wonderful father. I had written only about the smoking habit. Swami might come anytime to grant darshan, so the people will start waiting from 7:30. Sometimes it will be 10 by the time Swami's darshan is over. Normally, my father's habit used to be after darshan, he'll go outside fast because 1 or 2 hours he's standing without cigarette. He'll go outside the gates of Vrindavan and then we'll smoke a cigarette. Then only he'll come and talk to us. That used to be his practice. Swami came that day, that Wednesday. Physically, Swami knows my father because he used to come quite often to Vrindavan. Normally, students also stand next to the father, but I stopped standing. I was just little away from my father. I knew that there is something going to happen. So my father, Swami came near father. He asked in a very harsh tone, Eppa Vandachi. Swami used to speak to him in Tamil. Swami, I came just now, Swami. Then Swami went 2 steps. Then he came back and started in a very harsh tone. If you smoke cigarette again, about which I have written in the letter. If you play cards again, that is, if you gamble again, if you go to horse race again. See, the following statements are most, only the divine Lord can utter. I will not see you. All these things he told in Tamil. I will not let you see me. I will not see you. I will not let you see me. I will not talk to you. I will not let you talk to me. Why? I'll ensure that you don't even think of me. He just said and walked off. Nothing else. A very harsh tone. When Swami went inside, I went to my father just to know what Swami had told him because I was just standing away from him. He said, see, these are all the things Swami told. Now, surely when you go inside, Swami might talk to you. That time, please pray to Swami on my behalf that I will not play cards again. I will not go to races again because Swami had told again. But stopping cigarette is not in my hand. He had tried his level best many a times, but he failed. I think it is Martin who said, it is very easy to stop smoking cigarette because I have given it up many a times. Jokingly, he said, I know it's a real tough job. To a person who smokes 100 to 120 Wills filter tip king size, not ordinary king size. I went inside. It was a good day for me and also my father. Swami asked, what did your father tell? I said, Swami. He said, Swami only should give him energy to stop smoking. See, many a times Swami casually tells lot of things, but it has got immense power and potential. Very casually said, Parapo atom bomb energy. Jokingly we tell, I will not do that. Like that, no, sort of, no, something like that, no. It is not that, hey, your father has asked, I am the divine supreme Parabrahma Swarup, so I will grant him the energy so that he'll stop smoking. Nothing of that. He said, Porapo atom bomb energy. Very casually, Porapo atom bomb energy. This is the word he said. He went up. So till Swami goes up, normally we don't come out. So it took about 1.5 hours. I came out. I saw my father crying profusely. I went near him. I knew this man would have gone out and then would have smoked. So he's feeling guilty. He saw me, had told me I could not follow. What a sinner I am. All those things he was thinking. That's what I was thinking. So I went. Then a funny thought came to my mind. For 16 years, you have been bombarding me with a lot of advice. This is my chance. Swami has given me a chance to advise you. So I went near him and said, Appa, I know you have spoken cigarette. Don't worry. Swami is very merciful. Slowly reduced instead of 120. I started advice. He said, keep quiet. Tell me what has happened. So I told him, I went and told Swami. I was slightly disappointed because Swami didn't tell with the thing, I'll take care, don't worry. For Appa at a moment, very casual. So this is what Swami had said. For Appa at a moment. Then he started crying more and more. I said, what happened? Why are you crying? It's all right. Arjuna, Swami is very merciful, all that. And he said, keep quiet. You know what has happened? I went out. I went to the shop. One funny thought, one intelligent thought had come to my mind. Swami said I should not smoke, but I can always be a passive smoker. The urge to smoke was so much because it is 2 hours over. So I went near a fellow who was smoking and then started a conversation with him, telling that I am coming from Chennai all. And I was just eagerly waiting for him to blow out the smoke so that I can inhale that. Swami told me not to smoke. I'm not smoking. I'm a passive smoker. Swami didn't tell that I should not be a passive smoker. See, that's how our buddhi, we try to become smart sometimes. Unluckily for him, that fellow was not blowing out. He also started talking to my father, and my father went on. For that also, we had to ask Swami. He went on praying, Swami, please him blow. I'm not able to, please ask him to blow the smoke of the cigarette. Swami heard his prayer. That fellow blew out the smoke. A person who smoked 120 cigarettes per day, one after another, using only 1 or 3 or 4 matchsticks, could not bear the smell of tobacco. He ran away from that place and entered Vrindavan. He was crying, thinking the glory of the God. When he explained to me, you fool, you don't understand. In spite of being physically near to him, you don't understand the significance of his words. When he says atom bomb energy, it is his energy. He has been described as Ankuraniyan Mahato Makhiyan. He is the smallest of small and biggest of big. So Anu energy, atom bomb energy. From that moment, he died in Puttaparthi only. Till his last moment of his life, not even one cigarette he smoked. And also, if somebody smokes nearby to the place where he is standing or sitting, he'll go and humbly request him, sir, kindly don't smoke. Because he was about 70 at the time, about 50. And so, when he settled in Pathi, it was 55. And, the olden times when he became old, he had withholded and used to request him, sir, please don't smoke here, sir. Why don't you go? It is allergic to me. I am not able to do that. A person who had smoked 120 cigarettes per day, till the last breath of his life. We burnt him in Chitravati. We burnt his body in Chitravati. Then smoked one cigarette. See the power of Swami's faith. Very casual. Very, 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 very casual. I'll just narrate one more incident what had happened in Puttaparthi during sports meet. That time only the paratroopers, the fellows will fly in that, not helicopter, one thing where the boys will fly and then they'll, with that balloon, they'll come to the ground. They'll start from airport and then they'll come to the ground. So Swami had gone to see the practice, and the time that was fixed was 10:30 because the wind was favorable only at that time. They observed all those, the people, those who are in the group will plan all these things. So they have planned, and they said the way in which the wind is blowing at Puttaparthi, 10:30 is the best time. So they'll start at 10:30 from there. They'll come and reach about 10:40. Swami had come to the practice, and these people, they told Swami they'll start at 10:30 because wind is favorable. But Swami very casually said, now Uddeshamlo, see, Swami always, he's the mightiest Lord, but he's the most humblest of humble. Now Uddeshamlo, in my opinion, that's what the Lord says. In my opinion, if you start at 7:30, it will be better. But you all know better, do what you feel is good. He casually said and went. Believe me, that day, the wind was favorable only at 7:30. And at 10:30, when they started, no, it was not a success. So he knows everything, but the Lord is such a good Lord. He will never force anything on anybody. He'll tell, Sugyana Markadarshakaya Namaha. This is good for you, follow. And when our devotion becomes more and more, and we know that he is the only one who can save us. He is not only Sugyana Markadarshaka, he is the one who takes us to the Sugyana Marka. That's what he does. But we have to give ourselves to him. It's a long way. We'll try. Day by day, we will try. As he said, if not today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, surely we'll achieve it. That is one of the finest experiences that I had with Bhagavan, with the Father. Very casual remark, got immense meaning. In this experience, he knows everything. Unless he wills, nobody can come to him. Tuesday evening, I'm giving a letter. In spite of all odds, Wednesday morning, my father was there. And I have written only one thing. In Tamil, you say, one stone, two mangoes. Here, not two mangoes, three mangoes. And more than that, the most wonderful lesson that he had taught us. Casual words often has immense potential and he can change anything. Swami always says, Yogini, Bogi Gachestanu, Bogini, Yogi Gachestanu. It is all just thinking. Nimitta matram. That's what Swami, he has to just think. That's all, fresh. Everything is over. That is another wonderful experience that I had along with my father, who was a great soul. One more incident I wanted to narrate, and somebody should give me time because I'm not having a watch. Or I think let me have a look at time because 7:37. How many more minutes I have?
So you can take about 5 to 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. I think I'll shorten my other experience. Okay. I'll try to finish two incidents very fast. However physically close we are with Swami, 24 hours you cannot be with Swami. And you cannot tell all the things to Swami because it may not be possible for you because of the time constraint, because he is Lord of the full universe. So what I used to have, a small picture of Bhagwan in my cupboard, the hostel cupboard, and day-to-day activity, whatever is happening to me, I'll tell him. See, this is what has happened to that Swami. I used to tell him, Swami, this is what has happened. So since I cannot offer food and other things in my cupboard because we were in hostel, so whenever I eat, wherever I eat, I'll Swami, this is for you. That's all. That is my remark. Lunch, Swami, this is tasty. I'll have. Taste will go to my tongue, but I had that bhava that Swami's own would have. So in the afternoon, what I make him lie down in a sponge, in a cot. And when evening time, I used to again make him stand, again night, again make him lie down. And whatever happens on a day-to-day life, I'll tell him. I'll tell him, see, this is what has happened. For me, he's Swami. Though it is a picture, he is Swami to me. That time, suddenly Swami said, you all should play games. We were all not interested because 4 o'clock when we go inside, Swami will be down by 4:30. I was telling you 4:30, 4:45 till 7:30. We'll be with Swami. We'll have bhajan. All those things will be there. So when this is the usual practice in Vrindavan, so I was asked to select one game. I thought table tennis is the fastest game which you can finish it fast and then run for darshan. Cricket means you have to be there in the ground for even 30-over match means it takes about 4-5 hours. Table tennis means you lose fast and then you can go fast for darshan. So 3 o'clock the game started. I wanted to finish by 3:30. I lost. Even then I was a very poor player. My score was my opponent won by 21-12, 21-16, 21-14, something like that. So when this had happened, as soon as the match was over, I rushed to my room because time was 4:15 already. I wanted to go inside. So I went and told my Swami, my cupboard Swami, I lost today 21-16, 21-12, 21-13, whatever score it was. Then somebody said, Swami has come. So I rushed immediately, washed my face and then rushed. As soon as Swami, he just called, hey, come here. I went. Evira, 21-16, 21-13, 21-12, would we have a table tennis show? He said, you all see, sometimes what happens to because you see his divinity, then it becomes, you don't get excited much. But he knows everything. He knows everything. No? I was telling, yes, Swami. I said, yes, Swami. He said, tell me, you like this Swami? See, the Swami who's there in my cupboard is a cardboard Swami. The Swami's picture is stuck in a cardboard and a red robe is tied to that. Swami had not seen that cardboard Swami physically. నీకు ఈ స్వామి అంటే చాలా ఇష్టమా ఆ కార్డ్బోర్డ్ స్వామి అంటే చాలా ఇష్టమా? He said, whether you like this Swami, you are showing him this Swami or the cardboard Swami. He tells, what do you tell? I was just, my mind, it became numb, totally empty. I just smiled and said, Swami, I like both. See, I know everything. I know everything. That's how you should be. That's what he said. So that is one fine experience. Now I'll go to one more experience. When I narrate this experience, many people may curse me, but still, it is a wonderful experience. With that, I think I'll end. So, Swami often says, wherever there is a light, tube light, or even any bulb for that matter, there will be a patch of darkness around that. I think this thought is quite common to many people. And there may be millions of people, those who are above this thought. But since this thought had come to me, I'm telling you this. Suddenly, one day I had a doubt. See, Swami had given so many incidents to show that he is Divine Supreme. You all know that. But suddenly, a flash of thought had come to my mind. Is Swami really God? It pained so much. The thought had pained me so much. One day, 2 days, I was crying inside. And Swami that time was keeping me physically close to him. It pained a lot inside my heart. Whenever it happened in Prashanti Nilayam, I'm sitting in the veranda. If I just turn to right, I'll see thousands, 10,000, 1 lakh people during festival. Other days, thousands of people sitting. But now I'm sitting in the portico just 2 steps away from his interview room, having the thought, is he divine? The doubt was giving a lot of pain to me. I didn't know what to do. I'm referring to so many incidents that have taken place in my life. I was recollecting all that, but still, is Swami really God? Is it because of that? Is it because of, Swami puts all those things in your mind. So I could not bear the thing. Normally, in Puttaparthi, Swami's practice used to be immediately after morning bhajans, which used to get over by 9:30, he'll go inside. When he goes inside, we will not follow Swami because first stanza of Mangala Arati, he'll take the Arati and then he'll go inside. After Mangala Arati, we'll go inside. By the time Swami will finish the brunch, Swami doesn't take breakfast in Puttaparthi. He'll finish his brunch. So brunch time is only the 3 stanzas of Mahamangalarati, and we'll be sitting and he'll start talking to us. Luckily for me, that day, no one was there. Swami was sitting alone. I entered. I just could not bear. I just went, caught hold of this, started crying. Swami was expecting something. He knew. He said, so loving, very loving. What happened? We don't have anybody other than him. I just folded. Swami, chala doubt was this. I'm telling the Lord, Swami, I'm getting doubt on. Imagine. I was holding his feet and then crying. I had a lot of hair that time. So he pulled my hair and then kept me on his lap. He didn't shout at me. He just cast my hair. What if his doubt comes, Kanna? What is there? Passing clouds, passing clouds. Don't worry. In fact, I am the one who has put the thought in you. I am the one who had put the thought in you. So why do you worry? Now you have told me, no, everything will be fine for now. He never shouted. He could have shouted at me, telling that, see, when you turn, just see the windows. Thousands of people are just waiting for a glimpse from me. If my rope touches them, they'll feel so elated. But you fool, I have given you so much of chance, you are having doubt. He never said all these things. Bangaru. Bangaru means gold. Don't worry, Bangaru. Is he 1,000 mothers? Tell me, guys, is he 1,000 mothers? He is infinity mother, a mother only. If I go and tell my mother, I am having a lot of doubts on you, she'll give me a slap. But this mother, don't worry. And then I am the one who had put this thought in your mind. Don't worry. You have told Swami, no, everything will be fine from now on. If the same thing would have happened to a Mathadipati, if I am close to that Mathadipati, Guruji, I am having a lot of doubts on you. Oh, go, stand away. He'll call his secretary and he'll say, hey, don't tell anything to that fellow. That fellow is having doubt on me. He is not God, he is beyond God. He is beyond God. He is beyond 1,000 crores of mother. He is such a lovely thing. Only Swami can do that because he is the real mother. He is the only one who can do this. Nobody else can do it. See, in my life, I was blessed for one thing which I am ever grateful to Swami. Whenever I have committed a crime in the sense of sin, which not liked by Swami, whenever I had an opportunity, I have gone and then told him, Swami, this is a mistake that I have done. Not even once. I would have told him 1,000 times, 100 times at least I would have told him. Not even once did he abuse me. Hey, Swami is giving you so many chances, you are getting this thought. Why are you doing nothing? Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. This too will go, passing cloud. I am there with you. That assurance is only. Today also I make mistake. Immediately I go to my Swami and say, Swami, this is the mistake I have done. Please pardon me. But there are certain times I wanted to cover. Believe me, Swami acts in such a way that he doesn't know. But the consequence, when it comes later, I realize, I should have told this to Swami. I may not be in a position to tell directly. I just write a letter and then give it to him. Whether he reads, he doesn't read, because he is the one who is making us write letter. There are so many such incidents with all of us in Vrindavan. And in case if there is any other chance to show my gratitude to him, again, we will share with all of you. I think I've taken more time. Sai Ram to all of you. Thank you so much. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sir.
Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir, for all the wonderful experiences and reliving the beautiful times you've had with Swami. I think, sir, one question that may be pertinent, which you must be facing on a daily basis. Of course, these are the times of lockdown, but what life you lived in Vrindavan with Bhagwan, where Bhagwan was monitoring the students almost on an individual basis, and today's times, how do you see the, either is it the self motivation or what? How do you see people following the schedules and following the teachings of Swami, especially the students?
Nice question. See, physical presence is always a physical presence which we all will miss. There is no doubt about that. And dharma also changes from time to time. And since warden will be there, assistant warden will be there, so many people will be there. But ultimately, if you see, it is one-to-one connection with Swami that only matters. I think some boys, those who have come only for studies, surely will learn something better. And the people, those who have come for Swami, surely will have its own benefit. Because we are all nothing, no? We are all just showpieces. He's the one who's controlling puppets. We are all puppets. And I think he'll take care. He'll take care, and he is still doing a lot of things for the boys. And so many boys, they come, those who do not know anything about Swami, they come and they share so many experiences of theirs. They have not seen Swami physically, believe me. That is a present day thing. But those boys, they come and tell, say, when we give a talk, they correlate immediately something that had happened. In fact, when I was talking in hospital, one 10-day series talk I was giving, that time one of the incident what I narrated, that boy came and told me, this is what same thing happened to me. And in fact, I challenged Swami. I spoke same about Swami only. He went to Swami, Swami, my brother is sick. The doctors have said that he is going to die. And I have prayed to you daily, but you have not shown any this thing. I am not going to worship you anymore. He closed. He gets a call immediately telling that his brother is improved. Then he apologizes to Swami. Like that, he has got thousands way of communicating with all the students, and he'll continue to do all of his children. That's what I personally say.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for Thanks for your time, spending time. And one final question, sir, that has popped up is that how do we develop faith in Swami, especially as devotees do not have direct access to darshan today, and there may be devotees on this session who have probably not seen Swami physically. How to develop faith if you have not had that direct interaction?
See, we have been still hearing many cases wherein Swami is coming and granting darshan to so many people. Right. And as, if I want to explain something about Swami, it is 4 blind fellows. Swami always used to say about touching the elephant. One fellow touching the trunk and then telling That's how the elephant look. One fellow touching the tail, and one fellow touching the leg, and then telling the elephant looks like a pillar, like that. So, in my opinion, if you pray sincerely to the Lord, physically he may not be available, but to you he will be available physically. If not today, if not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It is only the earning. So far, after Swami physically left, though he had come in dreams regularly, I have not seen his physical form yet. But I am very sure before this body dies, I will have darshan. First, you develop that faith. That you will have his darshan, he will come and give because he is bound to give you. Swami, see, in fact, if you go to the Treta Yuga, Krishna called all the painters and then he wanted them to draw him. He didn't like any of the painting. Only one fellow, very smartly, what he did, he showed the mirror. Now it is reflection. You constantly think of him, he is bound to come. Don't you hear that Swami has granted darshan? In fact, one Alike student had sent one message. His brother was about to die. His oxygen level was 82. He was in the Alike is a small village. From there, they were supposed to shift him to Bangalore. They were all breaking their head. Swami appeared in front of that boy, just rubbed his cheek. He became all right. It happened some 3-4 days back. There are so many cases. Swami is not only this 5 feet 3 inches physical form. He can take any amount of form at any time. And if you have that faith that I am going to see him, I will have his darshan, he is going to guide me, he is bound to do that. There is no doubt of it. I am also having that hope. Till so many years have gone, I have not seen his physical form, but I am confident I'll see him. He'll grant darshan. Not I'll see him, he'll grant darshan. Because without a sankalpa, my father's experience, Tuesday giving a letter, Wednesday morning he's coming, it's a proof. Maybe to reach that, we may have to earn more and more. Surely he'll give, no doubt about it.
Thank you, sir. The devotion and the dedication and the kind of conviction your generation has is so infectious. You know, it really helps us to recharge our devotions towards Bhagwan. On behalf of all the devotees who are there on this call and hundreds more that will listen to this video on the YouTube channel, I thank you, sir, for spending this evening with us, and we have had a very wonderful satsang today. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sairam, the same thing with me. Thanks for giving the opportunity so that I can show some gratitude to the Lord. Any amount of gratitude, nothing can be, even if you take the skin of the body and make a slippers for him, even then the amount of love, amount of grace, amount of everything that he had given will be no match. But still, he doesn't expect any such thing. Love all, serve all. That's all. Try to help in whatever way you want. I just wanted to end with only one small thing which I am trying to practice, and it is doing immense good to me. Of course, it's not 100%. I have not met with success. You can live with Swami 100% in a day. Small things. If we start practicing, see, now I have started doing whenever I sneeze. Normally, when you sneeze, what you tell, if somebody is around, you tell, excuse me. Like that's the way it's a code of contact. So now whenever I sneeze, I tell, excuse me, Swami. So I'm feeling it's present. Like that, those small things, I'm trying my level best. Previously, whenever I used to travel in a bike, if somebody comes in the opposite direction and if they're not following traffic rules, which is affecting me, I used to shout at them. Now, Swami has blessed me to tell him, Swami, why don't you drive carefully? So instead of hating or using harsh words, I'm treating that person as Swami. I think slowly, we have to develop. Maybe I have 5% or 6% success. But I thought it may be a tip for the people, those, that question and this answer, maybe have a match. That's what I just thought I'll share at the end.
Thank you, sir. Sairam. Before we end today's session, just wanted to share some thoughts. Few of us would have heard last week we lost a very dear brother of ours, Shri Ruchir Desai sir. Just to let the audience know here, Shri Ruchir Desai sir hailed from Mumbai itself. He was based in Andheri in Mumbai. He used to stay, in fact, every vacation since last few years, he was coming to Mumbai. Ruchir sir was part of the Brindavan campus as an associate professor since last 37 years. He had his brilliance in terms of his academic brilliance, his dedication and devotion to Bhagwan and his mission and his role. I can speak about it for hours together. Many of our lives have been touched by sir. But instead of speaking words, we thought it would be appropriate to share the video which captures Bhagwan's relationship with him. And that would be a perfect tribute to sir. I pray to Swami and I request everyone here that we pray while watching this video, we pray for his journey towards Bhagwan. And we pray to Swami that we also are blessed with devotion, dedication, and discipline that sir showed and inspired all of us. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, Sairam, Sairam.
Yes, sir.
After this video, I just wanted to have only one word about his mother. After this video, if time permits, not more than 1 minute. How the great
Sure,
mother
sir.
is.
Sure.
Ruchi, कुछ भी नहीं।
और क्या? सांबर राइस
हाँ अभी हॉस्टल में सांबर है अंदर हॉस्टल में उससे कुछ भी नहीं।
That's a good one. Roll up the other way.
Only this. Only this.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to. Yeah, I just wanted to conclude with only one thing. When Ruchi Sir's demise was told to his mother, she stays in Prashanti Nilayam. She's 91 years old. She had translated a lot of books of Swami in Gujarati and other things. She started chanting Sai Gayatri and then wanted a bhajan to be held immediately. And she led the bhajan Manasa Bhajare Charan. I think what a great lady. Ruchir is great because of his mother. Really, 91-year-old lady with only one son passing away. And the way in which she took, I think this is the answer to a person who asks, how can we become? No, this type of devotion only we have to develop. No worry, we are all train passengers. That's what Swami says. And we have to get down at our destination. All the company and other things, what we are talking in train is only during the journey. After that, you and me, both of us belong to Swami. Again, I wanted to remember of one more great devotee, Mrs. Shauri. Most of you might have seen her. She is the Sevadal in charge of the ladies. Her husband, after at that time, golden times, the marriage used to take place very early. I think she must have had about 50 to 60 years of married life. They would have spent together. But her husband died in the morning at about 11:15. She was doing her duty in the evening. That is the amount of detachment we all, I think they are all great idols for us. And this is what we have to learn from them. But for Swami, all the other things doesn't matter. We are all co-passengers, whether son, husband, anything for that matter. The ultimate goal, it is only Sai, Sai, and Sai. Sai Ram.
Sairam, sir. Thank you once again.
Sai Ram.
We'll end today's session with Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu.
समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय
साई राम।